everyone, my name is Amanda Thompson. So I was actually going to do my presentation on why college should be free. However, with all the research I was doing, I changed it a little bit. So what I'm going to talk to you guys today about is why college should not be free. It should just be a little bit cheaper. On average, for an in-state student at a public university, a person will spend $9,139 a year on tuition, not including textbooks, room and board, and food. And for someone at a private university, they will spend upwards of $31,000 just on tuition alone. There are quite a few countries that offer free college education or almost free college education, including Brazil, Scotland, Germany, Denmark, Mexico, Finland, and there's a whole bunch of other ones. However, it's too many to list here. So the federal government spends a lot of money. We all know we do the FAFSA every spring. But in 2009, colleges made almost $57 billion off of tuition alone from their students. However, in 2012, students paid approximately $60 billion in tuition, while the federal government paid out $77 billion in federal aid, not including like the Stafford loans that we actually have to pay back. That number only comes from like the Pell Grants and other types of grants that we don't have to pay back to the government. So basically what our government is doing is creating a for-profit university, which is hurting our schools here. Entirely free college would be nice. However, lowering the cost of tuition would create a backfire, and a lot of students from private universities would pour into the public universities, and the private college system would crash, as happened in Germany, which I'm going to talk about now. Germany has the second highest income tax for the OECD's 34 countries. That is the educational department for Europe, basically. Their college system is now very costly to do and to maintain, and it's actually pushing students and professors out of the university system. There used to be a very small number of students that would actually go to college in Europe and Germany especially, and when they created their free college system, it caused a large backfire with students from outside of Germany also pouring in, and they have gone up almost 70% in enrollment in the last few years. And without the extra funding from tuition and things like that, there is no new buildings and we can't train the teachers. They actually have almost 400,000 new students a year. However, here in the United States, we do have some options that are great, including in Tennessee and Chicago. There's a few community colleges which are almost free to students, and also for our high school students, we have like the PSEO programs, where high school students are allowed to go to college for free for 2 years and get an associate's degree. There's also a lot more student services here in the U.S., along with on-campus activities which have to be paid for by the school and are paid for with our tuition. About 20 years ago, there was only half of the students that borrowed money to go to college. Today, 70% of our students in college have to borrow money here in the U.S. The big problem with creating a free college system here is the American opinion. The Gallup-Lumina Foundation is an independent and private foundation which looks to get Americans to get higher degrees or certificates so that they can go on into the workplace and succeed. However, in surveys that they did, there's only 40% of Americans that believe colleges are changing to meet the needs of today's students. A lot of Americans believe that college is actually not what's needed to go into the workplace anymore, as well as only 13% believe that our graduates are actually prepared to go on to the jobs that they are planning to do after they graduate. A lot of the problems with our education system can be found in Washington and with the politics. Obama actually got more college students than ever before to vote, which is why there's more people talking about this now. He worked and is still working for higher education funding reform and had a similar plan to the one that I will discuss in a few minutes that is being proposed by Hillary Clinton right now. The two main people making a big fuss about this during the election and the debates right now are Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders is a senator, and he actually introduced the College for All Act, which would make four-year public colleges tuition free. However, private colleges would not be able to survive under this plan because people would not want to pay the large amounts of money to go to a private college when they can go to a public college for free. And this would also require less reliance on our adjunct faculty or our faculty that is not on the tenure track. And that's most of our teachers, specifically here at YSU. However, Hillary Clinton's plan is very different from Bernie Sanders, and people should listen to it a little bit more. She suggests the New College Compact Plan, which would not allow for free education. It would allow for applying for aid to be simpler. It would not require you to pay more than 10% of your income when you're paying your loans after graduation. And after 20 years, whatever you have not paid would be forgiven, along with lower interest rates and holding the universities to a higher standard of education, which would push the universities to be providing the education that we actually need and will be able to use at some point. Her plan would also take into consideration your family income more than the FAFSA does right now and allow us to pay less when going to college. So in conclusion, in the 90s, the U.S. was first in the world for four-year degree completion for people between 25 and 34. Today we are 12th. The completion rate for low-income students is 25%, and usually it takes between 5 and 6 years for someone to graduate. However, a lot of this would be easier if we lowered the cost of tuition. And as I said, Hillary Clinton's plan is wonderful. However, there are a lot of other ideas floating around, and we all understand that college tuition is extremely expensive, and a lot more students would be able to go to college if we lowered the tuition rates. However, creating an entirely free college system here in the U.S. is not going to work at all. That's the end of my presentation, and I can't wait to see your guys's. Bye.